Tonight, a prescription for low-cost drugs.
I truly believe, the Council truly believes, that National Pharmacare's time has come.
A new report pushes for a universal plan, but with an election looming, will it ever happen?
It's kind of stupid, to be honest, and people camping outside our hotel just to yell expletives.
Raptors fans accused of bad behavior ahead of Game 6, plus the bad call that could have changed everything.
Ballistic-proof and tornado-proof storm shelters.
They're solid.
In depth on the big business of keeping schools safe. The new reality in American classrooms. This is The National.
An advisory council set up by the Liberals just proposed the biggest change to Canadian healthcare in decades. What it calls a national project, a transformation, a universal public program for prescription drugs.
If we as a country have any hope to continue to provide this sort of access to prescribed drugs that Canadians deserve, we can't tinker with what exists. We have to transform it.
All Canadians would see their drugs covered, an end to the current patchwork of public and private insurance. A national drug agency would negotiate lower prices for approved drugs in bulk. But right now, these are just proposals. And with a looming election, the report amounts at this stage to a political promise. The parties are already weighing in. But first, Hannah Thibodeau digs into the proposals and what they might mean for Canadians.
Anna Kiff has been managing her diabetes since she was a kid. She hasn't had private medical coverage for years, and she's on a fixed income.
Yeah, I've had to dig into my savings.
Personally paying for most of her medication.
For myself, $5,000. That's what I pay out of pocket.
A national public pharmacare program would be a big help.
Everyone in Canada should have access to prescription drugs based on their need, rather than their ability to pay.
The Council's plan? Canadians pay $2 for essential drugs, $5 for all others. No one pays more than $100 a year, and people with disabilities on social assistance and low-income seniors would pay nothing at all.
It would be a phased approach with so-called essential medicines covered by 2022. And that's about half of all current prescriptions, and a full list of drugs covered by 2027.
A national formulary would replace the patchwork system currently used across the country.
In other countries, the list of medications that are publicly funded range from several hundred to around 1,000. So we could imagine a similar situation in Canada.
The cost estimate? $15 billion by 2027. And like Medicare, it'll be covered by the taxpayer. The chair defends that, saying those costs would be lower than what Canadians would pay without a Pharmacare plan.
By creating a single-payer public where you've got everybody coming together and one negotiator negotiating with pharma and getting the lowest possible drug that would apply then to all Canadians and all prescriptions.
For millions of Canadians like Anna Kiff, what happens to their drug costs will depend on the outcome of the fall election.
Yeah, Pharmacare is one of what I'll be looking for. That's a definite choice for me.
Hannah Thibodeau, CBC News, Ottawa.
Even after today's call for change, the Liberals say they will review the recommendations, but a national pharmacare plan has been talked about and even promised by some political parties for decades now. Nothing has been put in place, and the reason? Well, it's complicated.
Putting together a national pharmacare program, if it was easy, I think that many governments would have done so in the past. If we look at the creation of the Medicare program 50 years ago or over 50 years ago, it was not done overnight.
The federal government can want universal pharmacare, even promise to pay for it, but it has to get the provinces, those who deliver health care, to go along with it. 1 out of every 5 Canadians has inadequate drug coverage. That's 7.5 million people. So fixing that pillar of a universal health care system would mean a lot to a lot of people, which is why this is also just good politics, if any party manages to do it.
This recommendation is over 40 years old.
Wow.
Canada needs single-payer pharmacare now. But while Canadians anxiously wait for help, Liberals and Conservatives put pharmaceuticals and insurance companies ahead of people.
Over the past 4 years, we have acted concretely on a broad range of measures to make lives easier for Canadians, not just the kind of wishful thinking that the NDP specializes in.
Part of that blunt attack is because the NDP recently promised a universal plan of its own, and to do it even faster within 2 years. The battle between the NDP and Liberals becomes less clear if the promise is similar, which may be why the Conservatives don't talk about universal coverage at all.
Studies show that is a small percentage of people who don't have access to provincial plans, who don't have access to employee-sponsored plans. So that would be where our focus would go.
Of course, none of this will happen until well after the next election, and Canadians will have to decide what plan suits them best. Canada's prescription drug situation is unusual. It's the only industrialized country that has universal health care without some form of universal drug coverage. But every country has hit on its own formula. The UK, for example, covers most or all of a drug's cost, while France's co-payments decrease based on the drug's proven medical benefit. New Zealand co-payments, just $5 or less, and it manages to keep drug spending down by bulk buying a tightly controlled list of approved drugs. The trade-off there, that can limit patient choice. Turning now to an ongoing diplomatic rift between Canada and China and the failed efforts to repair it. CBC News has learned that the Prime Minister tried to personally reach out to a top Chinese leader to improve the tense relations and advocate for Canadians sitting behind bars in China. But Beijing rebuffed him. Katie Simpson has the exclusive details.
Days before Canadian Robert Schellenberg was sentenced to death in a Chinese courtroom on drug crimes, the Prime Minister wanted to make a personal plea for clemency. Already under pressure to demand the release of 2 other detained Canadians, Justin Trudeau personally reached out asking China's premier for a phone call. But that request was ignored by Beijing. Documents obtained by CBC News show that in January, senior staff prepared briefing notes for a possible call. "You are reaching out to Prime Minister Li Keqiang," read one heavily redacted memo that erroneously labeled Li as the Prime Minister instead of his actual title of Premier. The Prime Minister's office confirmed today the call did not happen and that China did not even engage with Canada's request.
The Chinese practice tends to be to hold off on meetings at the highest level.
Thank you, Minister Freeland.
Beijing is furious with Ottawa over the arrest of tech executive Meng Wanzhou on an extradition request from the U.S. In what is widely seen as retaliation, Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig were detained days later.
Canada doesn't have a lot of leverage directly with the Chinese. To the extent that we have leverage, it's mainly from working with our partners who are themselves calling on the Chinese to release the 2 Canadians detained.
In the months since that rejected phone call, Canada has asked its allies, including the U.S., to publicly denounce Chinese actions. The opposition says that responsibility lies with Trudeau.
Well, obviously he's embarrassed. He knows that if he can't get a phone call with the premier of China, that's just going to show him how ineffectual he is.
Canada will be looking to its closest traditional ally, the U.S., for more help on this. Talks are underway for Trudeau to visit the White House this month so the Prime Minister can look President Donald Trump directly in the eye and underscore how much he needs American help in this dispute. Rosie.
Okay, the G20 summit, Katie, also happening in Japan in about 2 weeks' time, and President Trump has indicated he wants to sit down with China's president to talk about their own issues, but Trudeau will be there too. What are the chances he would get a meeting?
Well, China has frozen out other countries during similar diplomatic spats. History has shown that until Beijing gets its way, it tends not to engage. Expectations are low that Chinese officials will even interact with Canada, but there is some hope that the U.S. might be able to break the ice. Rosie.
Okay, Katie Simpson with this exclusive story in Ottawa tonight. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks.
Okay, now let's turn to another story involving Canadians being held abroad. Andrew.
Yeah, Rosie, 2 young women kidnapped in Ghana last week have been rescued. 19-year-old Lauren Tilley on the left and 20-year-old Bailey Chitty are both university students from the Maritimes. They were volunteering in Ghana when they were abducted. But then came the sudden and dramatic mission to save them. Kayla Hounsell has the details.
Local media in Ghana say these are some of the men arrested early this morning after an armed raid by police to free Lauren Tilley and Bailey Chitty. CBC News hasn't independently verified the video. But authorities in the West African nation say shots were fired when the rescue operation took place in the country's south-central Ashanti region.
The victims have been flown to Accra. Preliminary indications that we have is that they are fine.
The women are both students at the University of New Brunswick's Renaissance College in Fredericton. They were working with an NGO called Youth Challenge International when they were taken from this golf club in the town of Kumasi. In a statement today, the aid group said the two women are receiving psychological support. The parents of both young women have been in contact with their daughters and at this time wish to express their extreme gratitude to the Ghanaian police, the Ghanaian government, and the Canadian government for all their support and actions throughout this extremely difficult time. Family members aren't speaking publicly, but today Canadian officials expressed their relief.
I think it has really touched the hearts of a lot of people in our country.
There is no information as to why the women were taken, but this security expert says the speed with which they were safely extracted indicates it was not the work of a terrorist organization.
Well, Ghana is a very safe place, generally speaking, very modern, advanced, kind people. But it is in a rough neighborhood that's becoming more and more hostile, mainly coming from the north, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Benin. So that it may have an effect on Ghana in the very near future.
Authorities in Ghana say 8 people are in custody, 5 locals and 3 from Nigeria. They say no ransom was paid or even discussed. Here in Canada, people are anxiously waiting for the young women to come home. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Halifax.
Now to some of the other stories we're following tonight on The National, including a Halifax police officer found guilty of assault for punching a homeless man and breaking his nose. The judge today released video of the incident from last year and a warning, you might find it hard to watch. The way it happened. Constable Gary Basso was called to remove the man when he was caught drinking in a shelter. That's a violation of the rules. But while Basso had tried to argue that there was a tug of war over the bag and that he acted in self-defense, both the judge and the Crown disagreed.
And we believe the video speaks for itself. He was abusing the authority that he's been granted by his position as law enforcement.
The officer will be sentenced in October.
I have taken responsibility for my actions, and I'm accepting the consequences of those actions.
In the U.S., the first person sentenced in the big college admissions scandal will avoid jail time. The former sailing coach at Stanford University helped students get in exchange for more than $600,000 for the sailing program. He was sentenced to a $10,000 fine and 2 years of supervision.
Drops the puck back. Petrangelo to the net. Scores!
And biggest night of the year if you're a hockey fan, the St. Louis Blues are up against the Boston Bruins in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final in Boston. It's 2-0 right now. We're just getting into the third period, and clearly there's a lot on the line for both teams, but a win for the Blues would be historic. Last time they made a Cup Final was almost half a century ago. They've never actually won the big prize ever, and earlier in the season, they were ranked dead last in the league.
Another sport now. Eager Raptors fans touched down in California today, getting set for Game 6 of the NBA Final tomorrow night in Oakland. Fan rivalry has escalated, with Canadians accused of dissing the Golden State Warriors. Kim Brunhuber checked out the mood in enemy territory.
Montreal native Lex Gopnik-Lewinsky carves his smoked meat the way he was taught back in Quebec. His entire deli is an ode to Canada. In Berkeley, California. On the menu, poutine. In the beer fridge, Molson Canadian. And on the screens, the Raptors. On game night, fans of both teams gather to watch what some had been calling the most amicable finals ever.
I think there's a lot of admiration, there's a lot of respect. It's not one of these like really bitter, vicious rivalries.
That may be changing.
I don't like to hear the fans cheering.
In Game 5, when Warriors star Kevin Durant went down, Raptors fans were accused of gloating.
This is not what we're about in Canada, and you guys are making us look bad, the few of you that did it.
Then video surfaced of Raptors fans heckling the Currys outside a Toronto hotel. Not Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry, his mom and dad.
kind of stupid, to be honest, in terms of people camping outside our hotel just to yell expletives at either us or our family members or whatever the case is. But we handle all that stuff with class and try to ignore it the best we can.
Back at the deli, lifelong Warriors fan Algin Ford is having trouble ignoring it. The actor has worked in Canada. His best friend is Canadian.
That was incredibly shocking to me. It was shocking because of my perception of Canadians.
You thought we were better than that?
Yes. I thought, no way.
Then he realized those incidents are a symbol of the growing tribalism that's hurting both countries.
This little basketball incident is a great metaphor for our lives. So I said, I'm going to send love and light to those Canadians.
Gopnik Lewinsky isn't sure how much love there'll be in here during Game 6.
It's going to help motivate the Warriors fans, but again, for the most part, it's not like we're going to repeat the War of 1812.
His wish? Simple. May the best team win. How Canadian. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, Berkeley, California.
And with the historic Raptors victory just within reach, you'd better believe fans will be watching the refs, especially so after the NBA admitted there was a mistake in the final seconds of Game 5. Chris Glover looks into the Golden State Warriors foul that referees somehow missed.
If you're the Raptors right now, don't fall in love thinking you have to have a three.
With 49 seconds left and Toronto 3 points behind, Raptor Marc Gasol got knocked over by Warrior DeMarcus Cousins.
Nick Nurse upset, thought there was contact.
Now a routine review by the NBA of the last 2 minutes of Game 5 confirms a foul should have been called, and Gasol should have gotten 2 free throws.
The refs screwed us over.
The league's admission has turned Raptor fans into conspiracy theorists.
The longer they go, the more money they're going to make.
We're the only team in Canada. Sometimes they are kind of not fair.
It's not just fans who feel targeted by bad calls.
Nick Nurse just got a technical foul.
Back in December, Raptors coach Nick Nurse was fined for an outburst at officials.
And he is absolutely furious.
The sports writer says in the big leagues, officials are sometimes lenient with superstars.
Gretzky moving toward the net now. The shot hurt Gilmore.
In the 1993 NHL playoffs, Wayne Gretzky hurt Doug Gilmore with a stick to the face, but no official called high sticking, and the Great Ones Kings went on to beat Gilmore's Leafs.
And they still talk about that as a missed call. So absolutely, these calls, they're magnified.
He says the NBA's public post-mortem on the final 2 minutes is unique.
I think it's important that the NBA owns it. I think it's important for credibility.
You can see DeMarcus Cousins comes down.
But this former pro turned ref worries about the NBA calling out its own officials when other leagues don't do it.
While they're being honest, the team that loses doesn't benefit from this. The fans that are cheering for their team that they want to win, they don't benefit from this as well.
Despite the honesty, the call on the court is the final word. Walton says it's unfair to say a penalty would have changed the game's outcome.
Basketball is a game of 48 minutes. So many things happen throughout the game that could have been better for the winning team or the losing team.
Still, the biggest losers in all of this may be the refs in Game 6, now under more suspicion and even greater scrutiny. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
And the Golden State Warrior Kevin Durant has posted an update on that injury from Game 5. He said, "I did rupture my Achilles. Surgery was today and it was a success, easy money." As Kim told us, Raptors fans were scorned after some of them cheered Durant's misfortune. Well, some Canadian has sent him flowers on behalf of the whole country. Nice little sorry note attached. Very Canadian thing to do. And another has set up a website so people here can easily donate to Durant's foundation. A little later on the National, we're with the Raptors fans as they touch down in California.
And the big business of protecting U.S. schools and students from shootings.
Plus, behind the scenes at Massey Hall, Ian gets a look at the renovations with Blue Rodeo's Jim Cuddy.
What you've missed is that Jim's obsessed about going up here, but he's been told that he's not allowed to.
Currently told no.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to stay that way.
He's working on it, though.
They faced rubber bullets, tear gas, and police batons. But defiant protesters in Hong Kong are not backing down. And the demonstration, so serious, government offices are being shut down for the rest of the week. Protesters are determined to block a new law that would allow extraditions to mainland China. It has sparked deep anxiety over the territory's independence, China's growing reach, and as Sasha Petrusik tells us, many fear what comes next.
Tens of thousands came out to show their opposition to an unpopular law that could see Hong Kong residents extradited to mainland China to face its harsh and arbitrary legal system, protesters say.
Hong Kong citizens' freedom may be restricted and turn this place like mainland China with very few freedom.
We will fight back.
How?
Well, more occupation, more of people going to streets, and we need the government to withdraw the law totally.
They surrounded the legislature, forcing debate on the extradition law to be suspended.
And of course, they protested in the rain, bringing back memories of the popular umbrella revolution here in Hong Kong 5 years ago. But this one is different. First of all, it's brought out many more people onto the streets and people from different walks of life.
For instance, some unionized bus drivers blocked the road by parking their double-deckers across it. But the police are also adopting more aggressive tactics, moving in faster and, for the first time, firing rubber bullets and beanbag rounds, methods Amnesty International has criticized as excessive force. Hong Kong's leader, Chief Executive Carrie Lam, has been unyielding. She's been demonized for being too close to Beijing, but in a teary interview today, she rejected accusations she's betrayed Hong Kong. I was born and raised here, she said. This place has called for a lot of personal sacrifice. As for the extradition law, Lam is still vowing it will be passed by Hong Kong's legislature soon. Those protesters remaining on the street overnight say they're not moving until she changes her mind. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Hong Kong.
Ahead on The National, a stolen flag, a misunderstanding, and a heartbroken mother.
First, though, bulletproof rooms and high-tech surveillance, that is the new reality in U.S. classrooms.
Code blue, code blue.
These are our ballistic-proof and tornado-proof storm shelters.
They're solid.
Yes.
Protecting students or profiting on fear. Paul Hunter goes in depth next.
Well, I believe that we have a moral duty to leave this world in a better condition than what we inherited. And
that's Theresa May on Britain's ambitious new plan to reach net zero greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2050, making it the first G7 country to set targets based on the Paris Climate Agreement. May's plan has been criticized by some for coming too late and by others for being impractical. And we do have an update now in the shooting of former Boston Red Sox star David Ortiz. The alleged gunman has been arrested along with 6 other suspects, and a 7th is still at large. Ortiz was shot while at a bar in the Dominican Republic. The country's national police director says the group was carrying out a hit. Ortiz was hit in the stomach, and he's in intensive care in Massachusetts.
It is unfortunately no longer news that there are school shootings in the U.S., 23 of them since August. Understandable, then, that educators are just fed up with waiting for politicians to act. So they are, with their wallets. Safety, they realize, might just be for sale. So in tonight's dispatch from Hilton, Oklahoma, Paul Hunter has a look at the school security industry, and it's a big one.
On a rainy morning in the small town of Hilton, Oklahoma, just north of the Texas border, summer school.
Penny went around 8 times without stopping.
And a lesson that has nothing to do with reading or writing, but everything to do with that heavy-duty blue and white box sitting at the back of the class.
Code blue, code blue.
To be clear, it's just a drill. There's no emergency this time. Their school is in a county where tornadoes tend to strike. The shelter is to protect against that, but by design, it's also to protect against that other ever-growing worry in all American schools, mass shootings. School Superintendent Terry Shaw heard about the shelters from an old schoolmate. He gave us a video showing how he put it to the test. That's him stepping inside, along with the Utah man who designed it, while outside, they let her rip. It worked so well, Shaw bought 7 of them at $30,000 apiece. He loves them and gave us a look up close.
These are our ballistic-proof and tornado-proof storm shelters.
They're solid.
Yes.
There's room for more than 30 students, and they come complete with cameras on the outside, monitors on the inside, a ventilation system, and peace of mind for everyone.
Well, the feedback's been wonderful from parents. It's that sense of security, knowing that their kids are safe at school. If that inevitable event happens where a bad guy's on campus, we've already taken care of that. We've already put in the work to help protect as many kids as possible.
A teacher at Columbine High School. There was a student here with a gun.
Don't kid yourself. School shootings in the U.S. remain statistically rare.
Community Hook School. I think there's somebody shooting in here.
But the particular horror of young people under fire has left countless parents in this country eager for anything to ensure their kids' safety.
A lot of blood. Please help.
With gun laws here deemed unlikely to change anytime soon, and with mental health issues a separate focus, American schools are fortifying themselves. The school security industry in this country is now worth some $3 billion a year. In Las Vegas, Nevada, a gathering this spring for some of the biggest players in the world of security. At the International Security Conference and Exposition, among the fastest growing sectors, schools. From facial recognition software aimed at identifying all school visitors to easy fit door stoppers, cheap and super strong, the show has it all.
Well, we call them smart safes.
Take a look at this, a biometrics protected gun safe. Teachers would need a pass card and their fingerprint to get into it for defense against a bad guy with a gun. How many biometric safes per school?
I would think, depending on the way that the school is situated, you would have maybe 3.
Like fire extinguishers?
Like a fire extinguisher, yes.
Or how about an easy way for students to unlock school doors? For that, credit this Canadian-developed software that can do it using your own cell phone.
We're trying to bring this idea of how do you use what you already have and retrofit it to increase the level of security.
Then there's this. Of course, that's not a real assault rifle, but in this demonstration, it quickly catches the eye of cameras with artificial intelligence.
See, it's picking up the weapon. The alerts are popping down there.
It's alerting like 911 or whatever?
Yes.
Where'd this idea come from?
I spent 10 years in the military as a Navy SEAL. My wife's a school teacher, and I got tired of turning on the news and seeing active shooter events almost every week. It's disgusting, and there's not a really good solution out there.
The goal? To stop school shootings before they can even begin.
All these things are in here are to mitigate threatening human behavior.
Guy Grace knows his stuff on this. He leads the group Partner Alliance for Safer Schools and is head of security for a school district in Colorado.
If nothing is done, we would have more school shootings, we would have more suicides, we would have more negative actions taking places on the campuses. So if we didn't do that, it would be tremendously a lot worse than where it is right now.
That talk gets put into action right here. It's the security control room in Grace's school district in Colorado, complete with a wall of monitors. It's the cutting edge in U.S. school security.
These are motion sensors.
Motion sensors.
Overseeing the 20 schools in this district, Grace's team has installed some 1,100 cameras throughout those schools. They can spot unusual activity automatically. His team can watch, listen in, send alerts, and with the flick of a switch, lock doors almost anywhere.
What we like about these things is if down the road, these cameras, if somebody is carrying a weapon or something like that, that can give you an alert before they even get into the school.
If by now you're thinking it all seems a little over the top, consider there was a shooting at this school in Grace's district in 2013, leaving 2 dead. And another at this one just last month, killing 1, injuring 8. And in the district right next door, Columbine, where 20 years ago, 13 students were shot and killed.
One of the shooters ran down the hallway and he actually pointed a gun, a sawed-off shotgun in my direction and was shooting.
On that day in '99, Lauren Reese was a student at Columbine. Then, just 15 years old, she was between classes and on the phone with her mom when the shooting began.
And I said, "Mommy, someone brought a gun to school." And all she said was, "Go, run." And she's like, "I love you, bye."
Now with 2 kids of her own, she underlines this country has little choice but to strengthen its schools.
And gun laws aren't changing, and regardless if there's a law in place or not, if someone wants to get a gun, they're going to get a gun, whether it's legally or not. In a sense, you know, this is the world we live in now, but we have to protect our kids.
Still, critics say a lot of the gadgetry is driven by the security industry itself, pushing fear to make a buck. But many others counter, in today's America, fact is, you gotta do something.
What about this?
And so, at another school in Guy Grace's district, where teachers' desks come equipped with hidden alarm buttons, a group of young students are on a safety refresher course.
Even if you know who they are, we don't let anybody in the building, okay?
A key part of everything, ensuring classrooms don't feel like prisons.
Next person that doesn't lock the door, go ahead.
Later, in a nearby hallway, simple drills promote muscle memory.
Push that door and lock it. Okay. Unlock it. Good job.
And for those times when a shooter threatens, rare as that might be, they emphasize
Lockdown. Lockdown.
They learn to run and to hide wherever, however, behind anything, and quickly to stay alive. Remember, these are all elementary students.
But we're giving them something that, you know, it's maybe simple as heck or whatever, but it's giving them some confidence to make sure that they're not living in a fear.
That was not my plan.
Back in Oklahoma, where when they're not in use, those shelters double as quiet spaces for study, resignation mixes with resolve.
I hate the fact that our society is at that point, but that's where we're at. So when you're faced with a problem, I think it's our job as parents, administrators, and humans to deal with that problem. You don't want to be that school that wasn't prepared. I think we need to be that school that is moving forward in preparation to help protect our kids.
A sobering response to a challenge, say all, that now demands it. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Hilton, Oklahoma.
Up next, behind the scenes at Massey Hall.
Woo! I know. This is an eye-opener.
Holy Christ!
This is something else.
This is incredible.
It's just an incredible experience to be up here.
Ian takes us inside for a look at the restoration with the man who knows the venue pretty well, Blue Rodeo's
And a
Jim
lesson
Cuddy.
that has nothing to do with
First, though, a
reading or
preview
writing,
of
but
what you'll see
everything to
next
do
week
with
here
that
on the National
heavy-duty
and across
blue and
CBC
white
News. We are looking at how climate change is affecting Canadians right now. Extreme heat, wildfire smoke, and diseases all made worse by a warming planet. The impact on your health and the challenges faced by doctors.
When I went to medical school, we were taught that there was no Lyme disease in Canada.
And we'll take you to the Arctic, where thawing permafrost is changing the landscape.
I'm just worried about my house might fall apart.
And the search for solutions.
Making changes in our lifestyle, making changes in our traffic patterns, in our buildings.
CBC News digs into climate change in our backyard, online, on radio, and right here on the National. It all starts on Monday.
I'm Jamie Poisson. Tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner, as communities across Canada deal with the growth of far-right hate groups, I speak with the CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian about the Soldiers of Odin. You can subscribe to Front Burner wherever you get your podcasts.
This has always been Canada's special music hall, just like Carnegie is to New Yorkers. So the first time you do load in and you actually play, it's tremendously thrilling.
Of course, that was Geddy Lee, the legendary Rush frontman, talking to Ian last year about Toronto's Massey Hall. Well, this week, as the historic venue marks its 125th anniversary, it is deep now into its restoration project. So Ian recently went back to check in on things, and you know how he is. He brought another major figure from Canada's music scene with him.
For generations, a cross-section of Canada has gathered here to watch world leaders, boxers, and of course, musicians. But now, Massey Hall is closed, encased by scaffolding, in the midst of an extraordinary renovation. Massey Hall's Director of Operations, Grant Troop, took me for an exclusive look behind the scenes with a special guest, Blue Rodeo's Jim Cuddy, who's performed here more than 40 times.
They met in a hurricane, standing near the shelter, out of the rain.
Like many iconic Canadian performers, Cuddy speaks about this hall with reverence.
One of the things that was nice about Massey Hall is it felt like you were being greeted when you walked in the door. You're coming down the middle, people were looking at each other from the balcony, see who got the best seats up front. Performers could certainly see everybody from the stage. So that level of intimacy, as well as the acoustics, those are the things that have to be preserved.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about right here, right now?
Well, this is, this is a bit sickening, right? Because all the memories that people imbued in the wood and the upholstery, that's all gone. But I also recognize that that the grand old hall was under siege. Mm-hmm. And if this preserves it for another 100 years, then that will have been worth it.
125 years of Canadian history has been stripped bare, and it's now being painstakingly restored.
The first couple of weeks after we closed the hall and we were taking out the seats, the smell in here was awful.
Atop the scaffolding is a temporary floor. It makes it easier for workers to get access to the ceiling. Listen to Cuddy's reaction when he gets his first look.
Woo!
I know. This is an eye-opener.
Holy Christ!
This is something else.
This is incredible.
All of this work is original 1894 work that demises the overall ceiling structure of the hall. And yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible experience to be up here and see the incredible detail and workmanship, much of which has been obscured for the last 50 years, because it's all been covered in this chicken wire.
Chicken wire. Inelegant for sure, but it was a cost-effective way to protect audiences from crumbling plaster. Like so much else in this building, the essence of what industrialist Hart Massey envisioned and what hundreds of workers created back in 1894 is being revealed and rebuilt.
And you can see the dust and grime that's been coated on that over
60-year-old gunk.
50 or 60 years, exactly. Cigarette smoke and lint. So the process that the restorers are using is they're just slowly but surely working their way along, removing the chicken wire, making sure that these original stalactite details are intact, filling cracks and prepping everything for eventual repainting.
Are these like 100% plaster?
They're not solid, they're hollow.
Oh, they're hollow, okay.
Yeah, so they're basically a cast.
Yeah.
And inside they used a piece of burlap that they would wrap around this mold, and then they would form the stalactite, then they'd have a cast that would go on top of it and they would fill it.
Wow.
We figured the reason they did, and they're all attached with two 1/4-inch nails.
Really?
Every one of them, yeah.
Cuddy was fascinated to see up close the ceiling's soft curves and sharp edges, and to hear the sound when I clap my hands, something we do to help our editor sync up the cameras.
Less reverb.
What did you say, less reverb?
I said there's less reverb than where the last one. Yeah, that's a good thing. There's something about every irregular shape is good for an acoustic building, right? So taking the arch and giving it a shape on the outside keeps deflecting the sound in all different ways instead of evenly. So it's all part of the reason why it sounded good.
But the art of this refurbishing is not simply to recapture the hall's original sound, but also to make sure it will serve audiences in the next century.
We're trying to reduce some of that echo effect or that slap back of sound when we push out all of this amplified sound now from these massive PAs that will be hanging about right there. It's going to hit those walls, and so we're trying to create an increased absorbency.
By the way, if you don't like heights and climbing, here's a tip. Don't take a tour with Cuddy.
We can't go up those ladders?
What you've missed is that Jim's obsessed about going up here, but he's been told that he's not allowed to.
Currently told no.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to stay that way.
He's working on it, though.
All right, so orient us here. Where are we standing right now?
We're standing roughly 75 feet above the original stage surface, or the last stage surface. So we're right over the stage area where Jim would have played many times.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Look at this.
The higher we climbed, the more we marveled at how in a building once lit by open flames, the old wood beams never burned.
These purlins are 10 by 10s, and this is original timber that would have been harvested from Northern Ontario or BC, and it's quite amazing when you look at this and you consider that the hall was originally heated and lit with gas, that we're still here after 125 years. No fires in its history, so touch wood.
Touch steel, too. Troop says this was one of the first Canadian buildings built with steel beams. These probably came from a mill in Hamilton. So sturdy they will remain here, left for some future renovation to uncover and maybe find this signature. For many of us, Massey Hall is about the music, a stage for great performers. But it's also a showcase for a different group of artists. Highly skilled craftspeople and tradesmen whose names we may have forgotten, but whose work lives on.
There's a marrying of aesthetic and artistic elements with the underlying structure that allowed them to create such an amazing volume of a room. And ultimately, the volume of the room is what creates the sound. And that's why Massey Hall is renowned the way it is. So there's a very interesting intersection between art and science here that's reflected in what we're seeing right now.
The moment is up next on The National, but first. In case you missed it, the mother of a soldier had her Canadian flag stolen. Debbie Ross went to her mobile home in Amherstburg, Ontario, to find her old, tattered flag replaced, along with a note.
It's a woman leaves me a note stating, oh, my flag was tattered and I hadn't taken care of it.
Signed by a mother of a serving soldier who said a flag should be kept in a condition worthy of the honor and dignity of those who died for it. Ross's son, also a soldier, is no longer with her.
It was a flag that he had, and he carried around with him in his bag, and he gave it to me. That flag was sentimental because of my son, and I had it hanging. If anybody were to take it down, it should have been me.
The note said the flag was destroyed. Veteran Mike Apata understands the impulse.
It irks me when I see a flag in disrepair.
But he also understands Ross's attachment to flags stained by time and memory. He still has the flag he flew in Afghanistan.
The flag should be destroyed honorably and with respect, but I can't do it.
The lesson here, the flag is more than color and cloth, with meaning for the many and the one. Each needs to respect the other. Well, Game 6 is sure getting closer. For Canadians, obviously, the excitement is mounting. And they took it all the way to Oakland, California. 16 Raptors fans were given the gift of a lifetime free tickets to Game 6. Their journey towards California and tomorrow night's game is our moment.
Let's go Raptors! Let's go Raptors!
It's funny because just the other day I was thinking, like, it'd make my whole life if I got to see one of these games, and then happen to win tickets, and it's like, it's real, but it still feels fake.
I can't even wrap my head around it. I'm still in awe. I've been in awe since I got the news, and nothing's changed. I'm here, but I can't believe I'm here. Thank you so much for making me your +1.
No problem.
I can't even describe how excited I am to be here on the eve of
what could potentially be history in the making with the Raptors dethroning the Golden State Warriors and becoming the NBA Kings. I mean, what more can you ask for?
We the North! We the North! We the North! We the North!
So who are these lucky 16 people? Huge fans. They were basically plucked from the Jurassic Parks across Ontario and given the chance to win those tickets.
That's pretty cool. Listen, it has to end tomorrow because the entire country is so tired. Yeah. They start too late. We got to get this wrapped up tomorrow.
I will say this. I remember broadcasting live on Monday for Game 5 from Jurassic Park and thinking, my gosh, this has got to be the best way to experience this game. But I'm sure each and every one of those guys would tell me that's only almost true. That's the National for this June 12th. Have a good night.
Good night.